Welcome back on the show. I think from Simply Red.
I only know 2 songs.
I only know one song. Na, 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 by now.
Yeah, so those are really good time. One of the greatest hits by Simply Red, and of course it's still going, on and on right now on radio as well, right here in Malaysia. But of course, Zoe, shifting gears right now. We are going to be talking about child grooming. And Zoe, I know that you're quite well off on social media. And I think you have some experiences to share as well. Like how people are misusing social media, right? And how dangerous it is for kids these days.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have any, experience or whatsoever that you'd like to share?
I have no personal experience in terms of people approaching me. Of course, social media, if those of you who have social media and you have a certain amount of following, you're always tagged in inappropriate videos.
Yes, correct.
I've sent one time an inappropriate picture, we know what kind of picture it is. And automatically, as an adult who has been living for about 28 years, who has knowledge in terms of things like this, I know when to block it. I know when to mute, when to block, when to not engage in this type of conversation. But I do scroll through my Instagram, I do scroll through TikTok, and I'm seeing more and more younger generation, kids who are probably below 15, 14, 12, who go on Reels, do their TikToks. And immediately, as an adult, I'm very concerned about whether or not child predators will approach them. Because if I'm at 28 getting inappropriate messages, what more a 12-year-old who are getting messages, how will they process that kind of messages? Because we don't teach 12-year-old kids to be like, hey, if somebody sends you an inappropriate photo, you immediately block it. It's not, I feel like, a conversation I grew up talking about to my parents.
Definitely.
What about you?
Talking to your parents, of course, when we were young, when we were growing up, we were exposed to social media as well. But it is not like how we have it right now, in the internet world, in today's society. It's because our circle gets smaller when we grow up, so we don't share with our parents. And when that happens, that's when we become victims. We don't let it out, we don't share. There's no advice coming in to act better and to make great decisions. And of course, there's an estimated 500,000 online predators each and every day. And with how it is easy to access internet these days, which means to say there might be more, Zoe.
Exactly. It's 1 in 3 girls who get approached by sexual predators and 1 in 5 boys who get approached by sexual predators. Now, these numbers are, of course, based on cases in the US. What about Malaysia? Because, again, when it comes to Malaysia, any time a sexual case or a sexually type of case, especially for kids, often is swept under the rug. When we got, honestly, when we got today's topic, child grooming, immediately I'm like, I can think of a couple of names. I've watched documentaries about them, but not so much in the Malaysian scene. So we have an expert. We have CHIT, NOOR SURAYA Muhammad, a counselling psychologist from the hospital Tuanku Seremban, to highlight some of the few things that we are missing and why aren't we talking about cases like this even more, right? So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Drove all the way from Seremban.
Yeah.
How was the traffic?
Cool.
Very
cool and clear. Yeah.
So you came down like a boss.
Yes.
Okay, now, Suraya, first question is, briefly tell us, what is child grooming all about? What is exactly child grooming?
Right. Okay, thank you, Brew. All right. When we talk about child grooming, it's how the offense or the predator try to make or build up a relationship, to get a trust, to get affection, to emotionally attached with the kids and also the family first. Then to that, they will try their very best to manipulate, right, to exploit the kids, and also, yes, it can be abuse as well. So psychologically, the predator maneuvering another individual for the reason, for the intention, to get the idea, all right, to get them dependent, to get them trust, and also make them vulnerable to abuser.
Okay, what is like the red carpet for them to actually, go out and target their victims? What could be that? Is it really just on social media, or could it be that individual itself?
Yes, okay. Yeah. It could be individually and also online, but now everything is online. We carry our computer in our pocket now. because
Right.
it's very easy to communicate. It's very convenient nowadays. So I can see, as my experience as well, the cases when it involve child abuse, all right, increased 5% from the last year.
Okay.
Okay, it makes sense because now people or children are in the house, and 95% of the offenders are someone known to them.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, it can be their father, the stepfather, the brother, or friend of friends.
Yeah.
It's worrying. We're so scared of our kids, like when being online, seeing strangers, but the stranger, what so-called strangers in the house.
Yeah, because
Right.
again, we have a lot of cases. I've read, I think, in the past couple of months, a father blatantly, having sexual intercourse with a 6-year-old child, and that to me is very hard to digest because how can you do that to your own child, right?
Yep.
But in terms of sexual grooming or child grooming, to be more specific, a lot of cases I've read are, the child comes from a broken home, an abused home, that type of situation. So our most victims of child grooming come from families or come from a background that's a bit unstable, abused, or can a normal child as well with a normal environment be exposed to sexual predators out there?
Yes, that's true because they are very vulnerable to this abuse. Okay, I can tell the family functioning here. Okay, this is how Malaysian. I might get sour point from this, but I think the use of word, the right words of using, body part anatomy.
Right.
All right. Okay. To be honest, the word penis and vagina are not bad words. Okay, you might miss the how to say the signs of your kid has been abused. All right. I'll give you one example.
Right.
Okay. Because Malaysians love to use another word
To associate.
with the penis and vagina, like bunga, cookies, birdie, and all. Okay, there's one case where the kids, the child, told the teachers that my uncle licked my cookie.
Oh, wow.
And the teacher said to me, I just said to her that get the new one, get new cookie.
The
Right.
teacher is not getting the point.
Yeah, he's not getting the point. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's worrying. And then a month after, the mother came to see the teachers and mentioned about the rash of her cookies.
Yeah.
All right, it's not come from the babysitting. So the teacher realized that she missed the point.
Yeah.
She says that she realized that that's what the kid was trying to say.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my
and
gosh.
you're very right. Very often, I've read again, very often that medical officers, teachers, adults miss out on the signs because, like you said, maybe in Malaysia, we tend to use flowery words to describe our private parts, right? We
Yeah.
never say it as is.
Yeah.
So when a kid or a child mentions, like you said, my cookie got licked. You, as an adult, of course, you don't think it in a sexual manner when it comes to a child. So for our audiences at home who are watching right now, who would want to be aware of the signs of their child having gone through sexual abuse or are currently right now, possibly being monitored by sexual predators, what are some of these signs our audiences should look out for?
Right. First of all, it's time to behavior. Okay, if your daughter, your son suddenly isolate themselves, okay, from the very happy-go-lucky person, turn into someone else,
Right.
or very aggressive one, turn into a very silent person, very secrecy.
Right.
Because to be honest, right, in fact, the predator they start they start their grooming with the secrecy.
Right.
They have the relationship between them and the kids. The stages of the how the grooming happen. First, they try to get their good relationship with the parents, and at the same time, and then they try to have the bond.
All right.
Yeah.
So they have the bond. I will give you an example. I saw you watch Superman. I can get you the comic. I can get you, all the toys related to Superman, for example. Okay, and then they try to fulfill the need. They bought what they promised. So kids, they love toys, they love something fancy. Because at this very age, the developmental stage, or we call it cognitive development, still developing.
Right.
They can't make any decision of what is right, what is wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, as long as the parents see what the predators give them, or the offense give them, the offender give them.
Yeah.
Oh, my parents know about this, so should be okay. So then they try to isolate the kids. Okay, can I babysit your daughter? For example.
Right.
All right. Can I bring you to the movie? So from that, they try to sexualizing the relationship.
So first they get the trust, and after they get the trust, they try to get some alone time with the kid.
Yes.
Because the parents would have already trust
Yes.
the predator.
True.
So these are obviously cases that is happening everywhere around the world. Oh man.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
happened.
So from there, the building trust. So as I was doing my research, I think one of the few things that when I think back, of course, it never happened to me, but as a child, you mentioned as well that the predators will start slowly making the child, or in a not in a
it's
forcing
like-
way. They build the trust by telling them, like, perhaps, I'll give you this, don't tell your parents, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it builds up from small white lies
Yeah.
to bigger and bigger and bigger. So this happens over time. It doesn't happen overnight, right?
Yes.
It's a psychological thing, because once you build your trust, you got to tell the kid, let's keep a secret between you and I, right? And that's where the whole thing happens, right?
What in her mind, the kid's mind,
Yeah.
okay, she's my father's friend.
Yeah.
She's my
I
brother.
should trust that person.
I should trust that person
Yeah.
because I saw them working or having lunch together. So yeah, someone I can trust. So this is how the groomers look. They look to the victim.
Right.
Someone they can trust. That's start with the trust
Okay.
relationship, and then it goes another. So from that behavior.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now that we already established that this is the problem these days in today's society with the
Yeah.
presence of internet whatsoever,
True.
can you tell us the stages of grooming?
This stage, okay, like I mentioned just now, it start with the trust,
Okay.
the bond, the relationship, and then they try to fulfill the need.
Okay.
And from that need and after it all be fulfilled, they start the sexualizing relationship. And from that sexualizing relationship, they will maintain
The relationship.
the relationship. That's why from the cases that we receive, it has been the act has been repeated so many times already, right? When I ask the patient, okay, this is the first time? No. She just said no. I just okay, this is grooming.
Yeah, but how do you feel when you have people
Yeah.
coming to you like that and saying like, no, this is
Yes.
not the first time, and
But
you're
he
like,
gave me cookie. He gave me teddy bear. I like him.
Yeah.
That idea. But she don't even know this is wrong. So we as a parent need to teach our children the right word, the unsafe touch, the safe touch, and also the unsafe touch.
Yeah. I wanted to touch on the safe touch method, right? The psychologist was saying how we should teach kids, and especially, in Malaysia, it's taboo. Anything that comes to the sexual, anything that's sexual is a taboo in Malaysia. We shouldn't teach kids this. We shouldn't. By right, we should be teaching them what is safe touch and versus, sexual touches.
Yeah.
So can we touch on what is safe touch and what is a sexual touch?
Okay. And talk about safe touch. All right. First of all, we have to our kids that you yourself don't. You start with them first before others.
Okay.
Okay. Don't allow anyone to touch yours.
all right,
Then you, please do not touch other people. Okay, we cannot say, oh, you cannot, and you cannot. All right. This is how sometimes in our community we try to correct the behavior then connect with our kids.
right.
So connecting with them, okay, you as a kid, as a human, you cannot allow anyone to touch this part and that part. In my clinic, I use teddy bear to teach my patient, right? So kids love teddy bear, so they connect well with the toys. So they know which part they cannot touch and which part they can't touch. In the part that they can touch, who can touch your part, okay? To be safe nowadays, I always told my patient that let your mom, clean you.
Right.
All right, let your mom do all the cleaning part, the hygiene thing. But let your mom or someone, I can't say someone you trust,
Yeah.
but let your mom do it.
Okay.
All right, because your mom know best about your private part. Okay, because usually for my case, I get 90% parents realize what happened to their kid on the mother.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, because they clean and they feel some bruises, the rashness from the kids, so they communicate from it. So I always told the parents, caregivers, like adult, right, try to connect. Don't simply, get upset.
Right.
People tend to say like, why are you crying? All right, instead of, you seem upset, anything you want to share with me? Connect, validate the emotion first, because kids don't know what happened to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Because to them, adult is someone who can protect them. Someone who can protect them, someone they can have an affection with, not someone who can, violate their
rights.
Their
right?
right. Yeah.
Now, and as parents, how young should our kids be, or probably even older, should we actually address this issue to them? Because some would feel like, my kid is just still too young, he or she would really understand.
Right. Actually, there's no age-appropriate
Gap or stage. Yeah.
stage for you to be transparent to your kids.
Yeah.
We look at nowadays. We look at our generation now. Perhaps our generation, we don't carry our phone everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. So nowadays you can easily get connected, easily get the idea on what to see, because to some circumstances, the predator, when they start to sexualize the relationship, they will ask you. Okay, it's very sensitive. I would like to share. Have you ever masturbated? You know what it is. Then they show the picture. They show the picture, and it's very fun. Shall we try?
Yeah.
This stage. To that extent. So perhaps a long time ago they show you the picture, but now online. Even when you WhatsApp, people can simply
they
random
just send
people
videos and photos.
Send video, yes. And of course, a kid, they don't know nothing about the video, so you just open it up and I saw this. I want to try.
Yeah.
My patient, I see the youngest groomers, right? Groomers, 8 years old.
Wow.
I even asked what happened. I showed this video from my father's phone. I showed this video from my friend. You're very young.
Yeah.
See? So I was like, oh, she's like 8 years old. I thought when the kids, the victim, 3 years old, came to the emergency, it must be the adult.
Yeah.
But when we interview and ask the police as well, and JKM, Jabatan Kebajikan Masyarakat, and the perpetrator was someone who is 8 years old.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Young as 8.
Yeah. So what do you, as parents,
Yeah.
I wanna get into the parents' heads now.
Yeah.
Because we talked
have
about the
to,
stages.
yeah.
We talked about the stages. We talked about, so as a parent, the after effect of how or when I found out that my child has been going through this grooming process. As a parent, besides talking to them and consoling them, what's the best way to approach the situation?
Yeah, and just to add whatever Zoe just said, is it a great idea to actually block them off social media? Or is it not?
Okay. Before you block them, all right, first of all, it is important for you to have a good conversation, communicate well, connect well with your kids. Explain further. Safe touch and unsafe touch. Okay, if it happen, you should tell me. Okay, how? Okay, what and how, you tell them. You explain. When you explain, you will try your very best to try to empower them.
Right.
To empower our kids. You give some example to them. All right, you can show the video as well. But now we have a lot of numbers of video.
Right.
KKM have been produced and
right.
published in the YouTube as well.
Right.
Okay, you can show them, if this happen, what you should do. Okay, you can, if someone try to touch you, or they show theirs to you. Okay, first of all, you scream, run and tell.
Yep.
Okay, as simple as that. And then, right, so when you empower them, you try to make them feel safe. Okay, how safe are you? No matter what, let me know, tell me, because sometimes our kids feel insecure because they said, nanti mak marah.
Yeah.
My mom will be upset with me. So that's why they tell teachers. It's good to tell teachers. They share with the teacher. So the teacher will will explain to the mother what is going on. So I think it's important for us an adult, in general, to really see the sign and the symptom in our kids. If you can see that behaviorally they are changed. All right, it's on psychologically, from emotions, on how they communicate with you different, you need help.
What about for kids who don't have supportive parents, or because like we said, most of the cases are from children who faced abuse, who does not have family support. So in terms of that, if the people around them are guessing, or they have a feeling that this child has been abused or is currently going through this inappropriate relationship, what can they do? For children who don't have that support and don't have that background, don't have those type of parents.
Okay. First, you can try the online. If you have numbers of hotline to help children, like Body Bears, Talian Kasih. And we as an adult, we don't want to interrupt other people's life.
Exactly.
Even our neighbor, we can slowly approach. Okay, but if you see this uncontrollable, because children under 18 below, okay, they have the right. I mean, under Child Act 2001, so we have the right as well to make a report on behalf.
Right.
Okay, so we have that. We are protected by the Act, so don't worry. We also have the child registry.
Okay.
All right, for us as a civilian, as an outsider, to make a report. All right, JKM, Jabatan Kebajikan Masyarakat, they have right to take your kids, your children who've been abused, for a treatment.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Talian Kasih really work. Most of my patients who is really scared to tell their mom, they call Talian Kasih. So how you end up here without your parents? I call Talian Kasih. As young as 6 years old, 8 years old, they know it.
Wow.
So I think it's good for your children to familiarize themselves, right, with this Talian, with this hotline, because I think this is maybe the part that we as an adult play to help them indirectly. All right, and the parent don't feel upset, offended if your child didn't share with you at the first stage. All right, they respected you as a parent, but perhaps they don't want to make you feel worried. Kids, they love their parents. Okay, more so when the perpetrators are their own parents, their own father, stepfather, or brother. So they have to protect that.
So that's it. You got to reach out to Talian Kasih, and we have all the other hotlines, especially. If you want to know more, you can also head on over to our government link websites to find out how you can actually reach out and get your help. Someone as low as 6 years old can actually pick up the phone and call Talian Kasih. I'm sure you can also let young ones out there to know that you can actually reach out for help. It does not matter how old you are. So thank you so much, CHIT SURAYA Muhammad, Counselling Psychologist from Hospital Tuanku Jaafar, Seremban. Thank you so much for being here.
Exactly.
And now ZOOEY. I also lost for words.
It is again a very, very heavy topic, and again a gentle reminder to those of you, especially adults out there, if you guys please pay attention to your environment. I know we're living in a very cynical world right now, but again these cases are happening here in Malaysia, and again we mentioned earlier, most of these types of cases are often swept under the rug. So don't be a part of those who sweep it under the rug. Make the change, be alert, and again, make sure you save all the numbers, all the important numbers, Talian Kasih, on your phone. So again, especially again, parents, please monitor your children's social media activities.
You don't have to be nosy about it, but just be aware that that's happening.
Exactly.
And talk to them about it. Build that trust first before someone else builds their trust.
Exactly.